So first things first is a CPI update. The last time I was here about a month ago, there hasn't been too many updates because the Tuesday that I was in was the morning of when the December report came out. So I was able to share with you a little bit of the numbers. Wasn't able to get the graph up for you guys, but obviously there it is. Unfortunately, inflation is trending in the wrong direction. The numbers came out today for US's inflation. Expected was 2.9. I think off the top of my head, it came in at around 3.1. So, while it isn't large increases, it still is trending in the wrong-ish direction. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, how have we been comparing with the US? Like if they're saying 3.1, traditionally,
Yeah, so we're at 3.4.
I know.
Yeah. 3.1 in terms of
like in December, November, where were they compared to us?
So that would be their December report with 3.1, I believe. Actually, no. I guess it would be January. I'm not exactly sure. Then right. I wouldn't want to say for sure because
I'm just wondering if we were kind of on par.
We are. We started our rate rises a little bit earlier. We started our rate rises a little bit earlier than they did. And obviously, we can see that it's coming up a little bit. Inflation's looking to be a little bit stickier, and it seems now they're going through, a similar trend that we have been going through in the last couple of months, from October, November, December. It seems as though they're kind of going through that as well. But again, we got on this a little bit earlier. Obviously, the jobs reports have been coming in a little bit better than expected. There's a lot of details into that. I won't, muddy it up, but things are still looking good, but again, the headline numbers are trending not necessarily where we want them to be. Same thing with the states. I'm not here to tell you guys doom and gloom. I'm here to keep it real, but just something that we have to consider. So the next CPI report is coming out February 20th, so I believe that's next week. And then again, the next couple of rate meetings in March, none for February, and then we got April. In terms of what we're expecting, I'm sure that Sergey will probably come in next week and give you guys a deep insights. I think it's going to be a hold. I've seen a couple of reports, nothing too substantial yet. Of course, more data is going to have to come in. We got the February CPI report still to come out and everything like that. But I think it's going to be a hold, and especially with things trending in the wrong direction. I don't want to come up here and scare anyone or anything like that, but I don't think the likelihood of a cut is very likely at all. At least for March. Anyways, bond yields. Another factor that I wanted to address is bond yields. As you know, they are correlated with where fixed rates are at. And, there's been a lot of a narrative since November, December that these have been coming down quite a bit. In the last month, we've seen those increase to, about early December marks. So, and I woke up this morning and I believe that it was up another 10 points. So it'd be around 3.8 now. And again, this is what fixed rates are based off of. Right now, we're looking at, when we do have rates that are on the rate sheet, we're going to be able to, negotiate rates down negotiate with the lenders. The bond yields is really that point of leverage that we go off of to, okay, how much of a discount can we get off of your rate? So as these go up, the amount of rate discounts that you guys can get are going to suffer in spite of that. So that leads me to where rates are really at. Now I want to preface again, whenever I'm quoting you guys rates here, I'm quoting off the rate sheets. We can likely do better. Right now when I'm talking to clients, I'm quoting them for a 3-year fix, somewhere around 5.3 to 5.6, 5.8ish, depends on the mortgage amount, depends on the situation, right? We can even go below 4s, if they wanted an insured deal. However, the amount of discounts that we were seeing off of these rates, like I said, about a month ago, we were able to do a lot better than we are to do now, just because those bond yields, like I said, have come up a little bit. So again, I don't want to overcomplicate things. Rates are still trending downwards. Things are still looking good, but inflation is just a little bit stickier. Rate expectations for rate cuts earlier on in the year, those are out the water. Things are just going to take a little bit more time. So again, we're still trending in the right-ish direction. But yeah, anyways, the last thing that I wanted to bring to you guys today was just talk about renewals. So the last time I was here, I mentioned a bunch of different just lending products that we have, different programs that we have to just kind of grease the wheels and put people into spots that might not necessarily be approved otherwise, right? While obviously purchases is great, one thing that has kind of been my bread and butter, and I know that a lot of the team does this as well, is renewals. And there's a lot of talk, a big narrative about, oh, you know what, how are Canadians going to fare with renewals coming up? If you're enjoying rates in the 2% pandemic lows, now renewing into the 5%, how are these people going to fare really on that? Well, I just wanted to break down the numbers for you guys a little bit. So as you can see, about 14% of Canadian mortgage holders are renewing in 2022. It goes up in 2025 and then up again in 2026. Now, with rate decreases expected on the horizon for 2024, and of course, we're expecting rates to significantly decline by 2025 and, of course, an extension 2026. So these people should fare pretty well. CEOs of various banks, RBC, Scotiabank, CIBC, with the increase in rates, you guys can expect, your clients yourselves expect around $400 to $700 increases. Why am I telling you guys this? Essentially, the reason as to why I'm telling you this is that's the leverage that I'm kind of going into these, that I'm going to clients with. I do a lot of cold calls with realtors and such. This is a point of leverage that I go to them and be like, hey, you know what? Again, touch points with clients. If they're not looking to renew, then they're looking to sell. If they can't keep up with their payments, then what is the game plan at that point? But just breaking down, this was a client that I had actually early on in the month. He didn't end up going with me. He wanted to just renew with his lender. But essentially, I broke down to him, I'm like, sir, you're going to be better off with this way financially, right? I didn't of course, I've done this for clients, that I've actually funded to deal with, but I don't want to bring up their personal information or anything like that. But so I thought this would be a great example. Around an $800K mortgage, the guy was with RBC, got quoted a rate of 5.7. We were able to, with rate decreases considered, I quoted him around 5.3-ish. So the difference in monthly payments was going to be around, just under $200. Now, just in the money that you're saving in terms of cash flow, not necessarily interest. Of course, you're saving money in interest, but this is just a cash flow perspective. And on top of that, with an $800K mortgage, we could probably get them $3K in cash back. At the end of the day, you're saving about $10,000 in cash flow, when you can consider everything all in. And if you're bringing those to your clients, you're not only bringing them something that's beneficial to them, you're also touching points with them and yada, yada, yada. So again, I just wanted to harp on that. And that's about it for me. Unless you guys have any questions, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Any questions, folks?
I have a silly question. Was there any discharge fees that they had to take if they were to go?
So for a renewal, there's not many fees on a renewal because they are at the end of the term. There's no penalties to break.
Right, but some people will renew a little earlier than their renewal time.
Yeah, you could, and at that point, there would be a little bit of a fee, and it would be marginal, and I'd be even happy to pay it for them because it'd probably be pennies, right? Based off of actually doing the deal, and when everything's all said and done, it's going to be a very, very small amount. Is essentially what I'm saying. Typically, there's no lawyer fees on a renewal. There's no appraisal fees on a renewal. So it should be a very seamless move. In some cases, you might have to have lawyer fees and an appraisal, but again, that's something that we can probably take care of, especially if we're renewing. We want the business. So, if it makes dollars and cents, you'll have it. So anyways, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Justin. Dan had a question as well.
So they have to re-qualify with you?
So in a renewal, if you're switching, yes, we would want documents, and that's the thing, right? But what I tell people is like, hey, how much is paperwork worth for you? Because all I'm gonna need is, your tax returns. I mean, depending on what they do, tax returns, T1 generals, right? T4s, pay stubs. is that worth $10,000 over 3 years? If it's not, then that's fine.
But 2 hours of your time, $10,000 return.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
And I'm doing the work, right? I'm trying to provide customer service, a seamless transition. I mean, I think it sells itself, but if you don't want it, you're gonna have to weigh the cost benefit, right? So, it is what it is, but.
Okay.
Yeah.